are there is not the important factor, but how many people are able to learn from this is more important factor. So let me share the screen right away, and then let's move on with my presentation. My dear friends, a lot of times, each one of us has been doing so many programs in our lives. But what exactly happens to us is uh, we may do something which may not be that important, or sometimes what happens, we try to do something which we know from our side. I hope everybody is able to see the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then basically,
Yes.
these are the few do's and don'ts of this session. So it doesn't mean that whatever we are trying to make it, it is something, it is only restricted to this. It can also be added, or it can also be subtracted, but this is what the session, what we are going to talk is basically is only a suggested guidelines to conduct or to organize our club's installation night, because a lot of people get confused, a lot of people doesn't have the idea, a lot of people may think that whatever we are doing is right or wrong, they are confused in those areas. So that's what it can be an eye opener for them. So probably what really happens here now, see, everyone who participates will enjoy. And then what I suggest you is, now we are very few people here present. I want you people to take to your own clubs and explain them what really it has to be. So moving on with the subject. So let me tell you. So one second. Yeah. Why we should have the installation ceremony? Basically the reasons, first one is to express the gratitude. To whom we are going to express the gratitude is the term which is earlier to us. They might have done the best of their work. They might have spent the important time to the organization, and they have taken care a lot about the things, especially the president, secretary, treasurers of the club, along with the board. So we are going to express our gratitude for those people who have really done a very good work for us. And the honorably transfer the authority and responsibility. See what really happens, it is something, a solemn occasion where we need to make our members feel that they have taken a responsibility or the authority on a platform which they would like to learn more, or which they like to understand more, and then they get exposed outside whatever they are doing it. So this is one important factor that we are going to do that. I request everybody to be in mute, please. One sec, otherwise I will mute everyone. One sec. If there is any sound from your place, I request them to kindly mute yourself. Then the third one, the reason is recognize the club members. It doesn't mean only the PST or the basic people who have really worked for your club. There are so many people in the club which are working for our organization, and then it is the time for you to recognize those individuals, to make them understand, and then also to make them to know what things can be really done. And then the other one is, there are few members who are very good at doing few things, and in that particular year they might have supported the team which is there, like the PST team, the president, secretary, treasurer team. They might have received a tremendous support from few of those people. So those people also can be recognized in this gathering. The next one comes, like the celebrate the club services. It doesn't mean that we celebrate our birthday, we celebrate our so many things, but this is another solemn occasion in the organization of Lions, where we need to celebrate each and every service activity, whatever we are doing, whatever we are making, that can be a good celebration, what is done in the last year. And the other one is, it's not only, always, you try to involve the community members who are there around. Probably there may be some doctors, or maybe some people in the local community, or some leaders who have helped during the past year for in our activities. Also invite them. So acknowledge those members, whatever they have done. So the other one, an opportunity to share club activities. Most of the times, like we know that we publish our the what we say, our activities on net, whether it is my LCI or my line, we are doing it. What happens now? It is for us to make every member and the people who are coming to the clubs as a guest. They will also have the knowledge about the club activities, whatever the club has done during the past year. The last one we were talking, I repeat here, this is basically an oath of office to new office bearers. Is the same one which we spoke about, honorably transfer of authority. Oath of office is something, this is a very solemn occasion. That's why I wanted to repeat here. And the Lions International has its own way of organizing these installation nights and then making these installation nights so successful. So it is a solemn occasion where the new team will be taking over to make your year, another year, a successful one in the times to come. So there are three stages gets involved into this. One is before, during, and after. These are the three stages we are going to discuss right now. So what we have to do before the program is that is something, like you need to appoint a committee. Most of the times, like you cannot appoint a committee, but we need to appoint a committee. The committee consists of chairman and a co-chairperson, or sometimes, like you will have some one or two extra hands with you. But let me tell you here, the new team which is coming over, the president, secretary, treasurer, will be ex officio members of this committee, along with the current president, secretary, treasurer in the ex officio committee. Probably this committee can be about 6, or maybe the committee can be about 8 or 10. So don't go beyond those 10 people. So what happens is you may not enjoy the working. So many people are going to be there. The next one is you need to prepare your budget. The budget is what is that it's going to be an expenditure. How much you are going to spend, which area you are going to spend. And then this budget has to be approved in the BOD of the previous year. So that's where you have to always keep in your mind. Then decide on the date, venue, and what time. These are the three things that we have to keep in our time mind, like which date is convenient to you. Because most of the times, like approximately from 20th June, the installations will go up to 31st July. So you can fix a date. And one request to all of you is try to not to have 2 or 3 clubs together sometimes, like without knowing yourself. What happens is somebody also plans. So it becomes difficult for different district officers to attend in all the 2 or 3 places. If you really wish that your club should get good attendance, see that between the presidents, you have a discussion, the incoming presidents, that on which date is convenient. Rather, big clubs, it's fine, no issues. But when something medium or above medium clubs are there, my suggestion is talk to people. In this case, I request the cabinet secretary who is going to be there in the year, like Bhushan Bhai. I request those people to take care about if any installations are getting getting together or something, like they are falling on the same day. So my suggestion is you have to guide these people. And you know that most of the times the venue, what we decide is going to be the Lionsburn, and the time you know that is going to be almost something like 7, or in the morning somebody will also have the meetings in the morning also. Decide on the installation officer. See, the problem is actually if you really look into the international constitution, immediate past president or the outgoing president can be the installation night chairperson. But what happens is our installation ceremony has a very big way of oath ceremony. Sometimes, like our IPP may not be comfortable in doing it. So what we do is we ask a senior members. Most of the times we have asked district governors. Now, maybe from last 3-4 years, we are following a new trend where first vice district governor is going to be the installation officer. So this is where you can always plan an installation officer. So what happens is if your installation officer is an in-house person, you can always invite a chief guest from an outside. Why I am suggesting a chief guest from outside is, what happens is a person who is coming from outside, he will be in a position to know what Lions are, what we are doing. So sometimes what happens, it is beneficial for us. Maybe that person may get impressed with our activities, and probably they will come forward to sponsor few programs for our. Now this CSR has come, it has become a very big hit in most of the places. Some companies look for the CSR activities. Probably we may get a chance to get someone into our pocket wherein we can use the CSR funds to make our installation night or as use as a tool to impress upon the chief guest if our installation officer is someone who is a first vice district governor. It is also you have to decide also on the other invite. It is not only the installation officer who is important. There are few officers who are very important. That one we'll discuss in the next one because I'm going to show you a sample invitation card, suggested one. This is the minimum requirement. So over and above that, whatever you can do, it is for yourself. And that other invite is, like I will be talking it. And before printing card, talk to officers whose names appear in the card. Now, what we do is you decide on the date, you decide on the venue, you decide on the time. The biggest problem with some of the clubs is you don't talk to the invitees. You may talk to chief guest or you may talk to one or two people. See, let me tell you, your immediate officer is a zone chairman. Again, your immediate officer is a region chairman. Again, you have a second vice district governor. Again, you have a first vice district governor. You have an installation officer. You just can't print somebody's name. You need to take their consent before printing their names in the card. It will be appropriate when you do this kind of job, because after printing, the person may be busy because you have not informed, you take it for granted. Don't look at other cards. They have printed like this, so I need to do something. Please speak to them. And these days, we are talking about environment. So don't now, probably it was 3 years back, we were posting invitation cards. Now, better opt out of it, go for a e-card and post it. And if you want some personal fun, some friends of you, if you want to see them or if you want those people to attend, put them in their personal WhatsApp. Don't put in the group for those. So my suggestion is it's better to always make that effort from your side. Calling them and putting across the names is very important. And prepare a flex banner. If you ask me, flex is also a plastic banner. As far as possible, avoid it. But this is one chance where it comes into the photographs. So we need to keep the choice depends on you. Now, if you are using a Lions Bhavan, there is a digital screen you can use. You can use a small screen. You can always use that flex banner or you can use that. The other one is you have to prepare the agenda. The most important factor. Whether you give it to outsider or not, but you should have the clarity to know the agenda, what the program is all about. Because it gives you a chance to know how the events will get successful after one after the other. So you have to make that agenda, which is always a pattern which is used for our Lions, that you have to remember. Now, the last one is, like finalize the menu. See, most of us doing Lions Bhavan, and you know the taste where the Lions Bhavan caterer is very good. Use the resource from that person. Use that your own skill in that. Make the menu which is more impressive and where people would like to. Because people, it's not only the meeting how you conduct, it's also food matters for us. If food is good, people will take that program as a very good success. And don't forget that if you have a welcome board, see that whether the welcome board matter is written or not. Whether it is Lions Bhavan or any other place, there is a welcome board. You have to welcome signboard in the portal. Please take care of that. Now, moving on to the next one. Again, some more points in the before send or post invitations. As I said, like use e-cards. That's what I repeat again. Okay, call a day before or on the day of the meeting to all the guests. Now we take for granted that I have posted the card. I asked him, so that person said yes, he will come. So why should I call? Please stop thinking this, because a person is coming to you as a guest. So it is your prime duty to again call them and remind them, sir, tomorrow we have a program. As you decided that you are our so-and-so guest, so please do join, sir. If the time is at 7:30, tell them what time you are going to start, 7:15 or 7:30, ask them to join. It all depends on you, how you make things. Then sometimes, like as I said, when you are posting cards in a common group, it is open to all. But my suggestion is you have some few friends whom you want them to come. You can put them in a personal note in their own WhatsApp group. Probably they will be very happy to come and join. So that's where you have to always look at. And then obtain the installation officer's resume. Collect the resume of the installation officer. That's where, like you have to take it in advance, because again, you have to give it to one of your member who is going to read the invitation card, because he needs time to prepare for himself. So please keep that in your mind and then do that. And especially, like when you are introducing, give it to a senior person who is going to introduce. The reason is, if the installation officer is a line member, he knows something about that particular person. So probably he may add some points from his side, or maybe he's trying to say something from the experience of this club with the chief guest or with the person who is installing. So can be a part of the introduction too. And then don't forget the photographer, because we need to capture images so that they stay long in our minds whenever we are doing the. Now moving on to the next one. What should we do during the meeting? Please see that a podium banner being kept. That is where you have to do that. Podium banner is a must. Every club has a podium banner. Please use that podium banner, because any speaker who speaks from the podium banner, he will be every photograph will be taking up the podium banners. Then, as we said about the flex banner, that is where the backdrop banner. Place the gong and gavel at the place of the presiding officer. Place the gong and gavel in the front of the presiding officer, because he's going to use that gong and gavel to make it used for that. Designate a senior member to receive guests. See, it's mostly we talk about reception committee or something on receptions. Like we have to invite, we have to ask the senior member to receive those guests, because probably you may appoint a project chairman who is a very new, or maybe 1-year-old lion or 2-year-old lions, or whatever may be the purpose you do. Some clubs have their own things. First vice president will be the project chairperson. It all depends. Like make one senior member to receive the guests. That's where you have to keep in your mind. Then place the copies of the guest place. The other one, like the agenda, what we are talking about. The meeting is something which we have talking. Agenda. My dear friends, somebody is talking, please. You can keep mute for yourself. Excuse me. Hello?
पापा गिर जाती है आपको पापा को मार लगता
Excuse me. Somebody is talking. Please stop. Okay. The agenda has to be there with the persons who are sitting on the dais, or who are the guests, whose name is printed in the card. And then keep the attendance register or a 2-sheet paper where the guests will write their names who all have come. So that is one which is very important for you, because when you see tomorrow, you will find those people who have come and who have not come for your installation line. And then you have to follow the program schedule. This is very important. Unless and until if any of your guests who is very important and who says that he has some urgent matter to do and he wants to leave, ask him to speak and ask him to leave. Otherwise, don't try to meddle with the agenda. That's where you have to keep in your mind. And then the most important one is, most of us are not that keen on the meetings. Like 90 minutes is also too long. 75 to 90 minutes you need to plan to complete your whole meeting schedule. That's where you have to keep in your mind. The next one is something, what do I do after the meeting? You have taken apart from the people who are there in the card, there was an attendance sheet where the people have signed. Send a thanks note for them. I'm not asking you to send on a piece of paper or something. Just make a small card and send to those people through WhatsApp. Individually, you are doing it. That can be a good one. The other one, report the program in MyLine website, because this being an administrative activity. So we have to report this activity in the MyLine website. That don't forget for that, right, as of now. Then the most important one is you have to clear the bills, whether you are doing Lions Bhavan, whether you are doing some other place, it doesn't matter. Please, for God's sake, this is most important one, where you have to clear the dues of the place where you have done the program. And the other one is submit the accounts in the immediate next BOD meeting. This shows how transparent you are. This shows how diligent you are. This shows how fast you can make things happen, because you are showing your members what really you are able to make. This is where you have to look at. Now, this is where I am telling you what can be the program schedule like. Okay. If anybody wants, they can take the screenshot of this. I'm just trying to run the points here. So once these points are there, there are few important stages where I would like to speak or where I would like to tell you. First one, inviting dignitaries to the dais meeting. Never say calling dignitaries to the dais. Say inviting dignitaries to the dais, because calling is not that great word. Inviting is a word which you are respecting. Then meeting, call to order, flag salutation, welcome address, secretary's report, introduction of installation officer, message and installation of new team by installation officer, acceptance speech by new president, handing over of gavel and collar to the new president. Now, the biggest problem what we carry here is, I would like to come back again when we are talking individually. Now, continuing with the agenda, escorting of new president to the chair. After the oath, this is where escorting, then also escort the new secretary and treasurer also onto the chair. Now, the biggest problem is your IPP is also there on the chair. Now, you can't leave him alone. What I suggest you is, you request the outgoing president to escort the IPP into the past president's club and let the outgoing president sit on the chair of the IPP. Unless and until your immediate past president is a zone chairman, it's a different factor. Otherwise, you have to give a separate seat for him. You are respecting him. And then induction of new members. Suppose this plays again an important role. In the induction of new members, if any member is going to be part of your board, this induction ceremony should be conducted before installation of new team. Remember that. Again, I repeat. If you have a new member who is going to be part of your board for the ensuing year, the induction of new member should be shifted from here to the place where we, like here, accept this one, introduction of installation officer. Before that, you can keep here that individual. So what happens is, it becomes that the member who is inducted, he becomes a member, then he takes the oath, right? The next one, if service activities you want to do anything, let me tell you, if you conduct some service activities at your installation night, your members will be very happy. That will come back again later. Then messages by the guests as per the protocol that we are going to talk later. Then pleasantries is something, the mementos. See, one small request to all of you is, don't give mementos of big sizes. Give a small one which the guest would be loving to carry along with him. And the other factor is, like they would love to place at their home. So please keep this in your mind. Then felicitations. This one, don't have a very big list of felicitating people. Restrict it as far as possible, because already people have heard many speeches. And felicitation should not cross by anyone. It should be between 90 seconds to 120 seconds is the felicitation. So please request the person who is felicitating, stick to that particular time. Especially, don't have a long list where you invite 15-20 people to come and make it. Make about 4 or 5 or 6, depending upon your club, depending upon the size of your club, you'll have, but maximum 5 to 6 people would be good enough for you to do the things. And then announcements by new secretary. What are the forthcoming, what things to be done, what is that we are going to have. So that's where he's going to speak. And then coming into the next one, handing over of the district and international district dues. Please kindly hand over to the cabinet treasurer your dues, because it's a very nice thing what you are doing, because the district is one which can run with the money what every club provides as their own subscription or whatever you think the district administration fund you are giving. If you give it, the district can really run very smoothly. And then vote of thanks by the program chair. Then I'll suggest here national anthem. My suggestion is, if your meeting is getting over by 9 or 9:15, have a national anthem. Otherwise, you can skip, because it is not right to have a national anthem after 9 o'clock. And one more thing is, national anthem sometimes, like when we see some people are standing or talking or having the food, better to avoid, or otherwise don't start the food. So this is where you have to always keep in mind. Then the meeting gets adjourned for lunch or either for the inner. Now, coming on to the individual aspect, inviting dignitaries to the dais is something, like which depends on your invitation card. Okay. This is a sample invitation card which I have shown, like Lions Club of so and so in the name. You belong to District 320B, which region you are, which zone you are, which installation ceremony you have, who are the officers who are installing, and who is your chief guest and installation officer. By any means, if your first vice district governor is going to be the installation officer, you can always invite an outsider as a chief guest. And then the district cabinet secretary, district cabinet treasurer, region chairperson, your zone chairperson will be the gracing the occasion. Now here what happens, I'll tell you. If any club which is having their installations before 30th June, what you have to do is first vice district governor elect, second vice district governor elect, district cabinet secretary designate, district cabinet treasurer designate. You have to write along the same thing. Region chairperson designate, zone chairperson designate. You need to mention these things. Who will grace the occasion? Then you have to write the names of the president, secretary, treasurer of outgoing. Then one program chairperson, one program co-chairperson is very good enough. Then the next one is the masters of ceremony. If there are one or two, keep a person who is very senior, or whether who has a very good way of talking, or way of able to explain, or maybe able to speak, because sometimes you need to be impromptu, like extempore, or you need to take something immediately to speak. So this is where you have to look. And then in the last one, display the district slogan and district program, because like every member, when you are sending it, even your grassroots members knows that what is the district slogan and what is the district program. Now, inviting dignitaries to the days, like take this as, because this have prepared as per the invitation card which I have shown you just now. Okay. So these are the people who are your audience. So how do we invite these? One thing, master of ceremony first should invite project co-chairperson, who will be sitting to the extreme right, and then project chairperson who will be sitting to the extreme left. Then again, it is going to be the treasurer, and then it is going to be the secretary. It's going to be the immediate past president. Then it's going to be the presiding officer or the president. Now, what happens, I'll tell you here. If your presiding officer who is a president, 99% he will never miss to come. For any reason, if it doesn't come, the presiding officer shall be the first vice president of the previous year, or if the first vice president not available, second vice president, or if second vice president is not available, then third vice president. Even if third vice president is not available, then IPP will be there. Even if IPP is not available, then the people who are there, they will decide who will preside over the meeting. So this is where you have to look at. So 99% you will never find this type of situation unless there is some emergency. Your president may skip, but you will not go to that below level to the fourth or fifth person. So after the presiding officer, you have to invite region zone chairperson. Then you have to invite the region chairperson. Then you have to invite the district cabinet treasurer. Then you have to invite the district cabinet secretary. Then you have to invite the second vice district governor. Then you have to invite the first vice district governor. Then it's going to be the chief guest or installation officer. Now, my dear friends, now how you have to invite these? Let me tell you, the presiding officer will always be on the middle. Always will be in the middle. Now, here I have kept 13 chairs. So, I have on the right side 6. I have on the left side 6 of the chair. Okay. So, the first person, the most important person on my right will be the person who is the most important person. Then on the left, then on the right, then on the left, then on the right, then on the left, then on the right. When you see these names which I'm showing you here, like the PCOC, that the program co-chairperson, PC, treasurer, secretary, IPP, presiding officer, ZC, RC, DCT, DCS, SVDG, FVDG, chief guest and installation officer. This is the alternate way I'm calling. So remember one thing. So for your simplified version, make the hierarchy, how the hierarchy is there. Then the chairman will be sitting in the center. The first right will be the person who is the most important. Then second will be the left. Then right, left, right, left, right, left is the one which you need to follow. If anybody has a doubt, please make a note here. Then we'll discuss on this particular point later. There we will discuss if any further discussions are going to be there on this. Now, after the things is the meeting call to order. See, this is the biggest problem here. The master of ceremony says, I request the president to call the meeting to order. My dear sir, remember all master of ceremonies or people who do the master of ceremony. You are not going to direct the chair. You are going to request. Here, what I will tell you is the person who is chairing the meeting should know that I am going to call the meeting order. So the right words that master of ceremony has to use is now it is over to the presiding officer. Then the presiding officer, what he will do is, I hereby call this installation ceremony to order. After saying these words, he will strike the gong with the gavel. This is gavel, this is gong. So you need to strike with this gong to the gavel. Please remember this. This is very important. You have to keep. And especially master of ceremony, please don't say that now I request or I ask the presiding officer to call the meeting to order. Please stop using these statements. Please don't mind for that, what I'm saying. The next word comes is flag salutation. A lot of people will commit mistakes in the flag salutation. See, don't bother here. See, it's not something you are doing which you are unaware about it. You are aware about the things. And I'm going to show you one sample here. This is the flag salutation. If anybody wants, I'm going to post it in the group. And let me thank you. This was given to me by Shivakumar Bakana last year. So I felt it was very good. I request, like the chair has to say that request everyone to rise at their seats. When we are doing this, it's a very auspicious reciting for us. So you have to request everybody to rise in their seats. Avoid mistakes while reciting. So when you are reading it, avoid the mistakes. Make a habit, practice it. There are few words which are difficult for you to read. So what I suggest you is please read or ask some senior member, how do you spell that? Then request the person invoking to practice. That's what I am trying to tell. Spell the words with clarity. Now, you may be seeing why I am showing you here. What I tell you is, I have given you some, what we say, backslash. This is called as backslash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, these are the places where you need to pause. We salute our national flag. Give a pause. And pledge our allegiance to the same. Give a pause. Its honor and its glory. Give a pause. Depend upon the zeal and assiduity. So, like that, wherever I have given you the backslash or things, like you can stop there, which I'm going to share you in the group. Once the meeting is over, if you wish, you can use this in your installation functions. When you are doing in English, if you are using in Telugu or Hindi, choice is yours, whatever you are trying to do. Now, moving to the welcome address, a lot of people, like you, welcome address is something which you are welcoming the gathering. You are not giving the report. I'll tell you one thing, like since you are the boss, you are the presiding officer, you are the spokesperson of your club for that particular day, you need to address every guest sitting on the dais in your salutation. Remember that. Start with your chief guest. I gave you the sequence, like from top to bottom. Use the hierarchy from top to bottom. This is where you have to always remember. Then the next one is keep it short and sweet. Don't have a big, long one where people will get bored. You have to welcome the guests. Remember that. The next one is welcome guests, lions and non-lions. Here, guests is the people who are printed in the card. Here, these people, the lion members who have come from outside clubs, not from your own club, but outside clubs also. And if any non-lions are present, please call them also. If there are 2, 3 people, call their names, or otherwise you can go ahead with your things. Like include major club activities during there. Don't give the secretary. Highlight what big projects your club has done during your term, which you feel that I have done the best ones. This is where I would like to speak. These are the activities which I feel that the club should always be proud about this particular year, what we have done. So remember, highlight only those particular club activities which you have taken up. Then the next one comes is secretary report. Here again, like a lot of people I see you use various things, like where you have to start simple, like just start saying your salutation should be presiding officer, chief guest, dignitaries on the days, lions, and invitees. Don't call everybody who is sitting on the days. Don't call the names of the people who are sitting on the days. Call only few people that presiding officer you need to address. That's most important. Then the next one is chief guest. So dignitaries on the days, and here don't use a word called dignitaries on the days and off the days. I don't understand what is this word called off. So don't remember, don't try to say anything on that off the days. Dignitaries on the days. These days also you have to call as DAYS days. We call, a lot of people call as a dayas. Dayas is a wrong word. Days is a right word. DAIS. Days, like Monday, Sunday, we call it should be like that. Okay. Then days is a meaning in a dictionary. When you look, it shows that a elevated portion in a hall. That will tell you that. And then lions and invitees. These are only the things you need to call. Then be very short. Don't overload your report. What I mean to say is overload is don't give the statistics. Nobody is bothered about your statistics. Nobody is bothered what your club has done. If people want to know that what your club has done, you have to be very, very precise when you are doing it. Prepare a consolidated report and inform under each category how many activities and beneficiaries. Like for instance, our club has conducted during the year diabetes, screened 3,600 people. Environment, we have done about 18 projects. 18 projects, we have put so many trees, 100 trees, saplings. We have provided benches, or we have taken up the work of a garden. So just explain that. Don't give the number, quantity. And in the same way, hunger relief camps. We have done about 82 hunger relief camps, benefiting 38,650 people. So this is where you have to speak in your activities. And if you have done something like health camps, say that four mega health camps have been conducted, consisting of blood, what we say, the general checkup or dental checkup or whatever names you can give, whatever you have done. And then total beneficiaries this month. And here, don't try to tell that how much you spend on that. Nobody's bothered how many you are spending it. So somebody will come. In the last, if you want, you can tell that our whole cost of the expenditure, what we have done during the year is about something like 28 lakhs, 6,000 or approximately 28 lakhs. You can give a figure which is very easy for people to remember rather than adding it. Not necessary to give date-wise report. On 1st July, we have done the birthday of a past district governor. On 4th July, past district governor Deepa Bhattacharya birthday was there. So we have done so and so thing. On 23rd July, we had the birthday of Rao Kulluri. On 26th January, we have the birthday of our past district governor S.N. Reddy. And 24th July, we had the birthday of the first vice district governor Resu Malla Reddy. Why do you want to give all these things? Give the category wise. Complete those things. Like that would be the best one when you are using it. So don't give date wise. Give a consolidated one. Your report should be over within 3 minutes. It should be over within 3 minutes. This is very, very important. You need to keep things in your mind. Now, next one is introduction of installation officer. This is where it's very important. And nobody is bothered how much you are going to say. Again, here start saying presiding officer, chief guest, dignitaries on days. And then here there is a spelling mistake. Please kindly excuse me. DIS it should be. Okay. Lions and invitees. Plan to complete within 2 minutes. If any big achievements, you can go up to 3 minutes. So don't cross maximum 3 minutes. If your chief guest is someone who is very, very notable person, has a very big list of achievements, you can restrict. It can be a maximum of 3 minutes. Some chief guests will give us a biodata which will run into 6 pages or 7 pages. If you run that 6 pages or 7 pages, if you read them, it will take at least 20 minutes. I think somebody must also be remembering some guests when they come, they say that my biodata was so long, but I'm going to speak only for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. So that should not happen to us. So remember that the chief guest biodata should not exceed 2 to 3 minutes. Then the next one is acceptance speech by the new president. Now this is where it really comes. What you need to speak. Short saying, start saying, chief guest, dignitaries on days, lions, and invitees. This is what the word you use. And again, plan to complete in 3 minutes. If you speak as a incoming president, you should be more focused on what you are going to do the years. Thank the members for electing you as the president. Don't forget, because if your members have not elected, you wouldn't have been the president today what you are, whatever you are going to take. Make sure you speak your focus area as president. Which is that one which you would like to focus? It can be 1 or 2 or 3, but say that which are very important for you. You speak that particular areas. Remember that. And then request every member to support in the club, because you are not doing for someone else, you are doing for our own club. So everybody has to support you as a member who is there in your club. Let it be a president, let it be secretary, treasurer, board member, or it can be a normal member. So this is where you need to request them and get them. And lastly, don't forget to say, I hereby accept the post of the president of my club, or name of the club you can read. This should be your last statement when you are delivering it. So remember, that is the most important one. Then service activities. If your club is feeling, you can plan any service activities which can really give more importance. What happens is when you do something, plan few service activities that can inspire your club members. Okay, you look something different when you are doing it. Year long or month long, you do activities. Plan to do something on that particular day. Probably the people who are coming from outside, they will also try to see if your project is something unique. They may try to copy it, and then they may try to use at their own club level. Probably the club members may have satisfaction of their participation, because I have seen a lot of times, like PSTs or president, secretary, treasurer, or somebody says, sir, we do so many activities. Nobody comes from our members. See, at least you give them the satisfaction that your members are participating. Probably when you are doing some unique activities, your members may also say that, "Arey boss, whenever you are doing this type of activity, you invite me, I'm going to be there." So that also can be a chance for you to make your members to get inclined, and then to get to make their own participation. And it may lead to few invitees inclined to join Lions Club. See, another one, when you are doing a service activity on your installation day, where you are also invited non-Lions, probably that will give them, "Arey, why not I join this organization? It looks to be very good, where I can also spend my time, or where I can also see that I can satisfy myself by joining in these activities." So remember that this also can be one of the area that people can do. Then next one is messages by the guests. This we can't hold. Make an agenda, inform the guests that how much time they need to speak. So that's very important. Again, guests is something as per the protocol, you need to go from down to top. Now from ZC, RC, like that we do. Usually what we do is we give chance to RC and ZC in police station. So who is the least officer here is second vice governor. The second vice district governor, then above him first vice district governor. Then you have to make that. And then one most important is, come what may happen, never allow anybody to speak after the chief guest speaks, or the last highest protocol officer speaks. Never allow anyone to speak. Then give pleasantries. Pleasantries is somewhere mementos you are giving. So that's where you have to keep in your mind. And then felicitations, as I said, don't have a big list. Restrict to 4 or 5 or 6 maximum. And I asking not more than 1 to 2 minutes. So probably this will take about 10 or 11 minutes. My suggestion is, if you can inform the people who are going to be felicitating you, inform in advance, they will come and stand near the days. So what happens is, come and stand somewhere nearer, so that will help them to travel time also will get reduced. Now, for instance, when you are doing your program in auditorium, they can stand somewhere near the stage, or near the master of ceremony, somewhere they can stand and do the things. That's where you have to remember. And then the announcements by the new secretary. A lot of times we see that new secretary doesn't know what to do, what all things. The announcement again starts saying presiding officer, chief guest, Lions and invitees. So what happens is, most of the times, like in the installation nights, we will be having our forthcoming event that's going to be the cabinet installation. So you need to make the announcement of the cabinet installation, and you have to inform that this is what the subscription you have to pay. This is where you have to do All those you have to remember. That's the one which you have to always remember. So what are the activities? And then if you are doing any, what we can say, service activities, or you are doing, or you are going to have a board meeting in the next 1 week, or maybe about 4 or 5 days, inform that it's going to be there. So this is where you have to announcement by the new secretary. So what happens is, I always watch when one sec, like let me go to the previous, the most of the times here secretary also comes, he also gives, like a bhashan. No, please don't give speeches. Yeah, your duty is to only make that announcement and leave the place. Like you are one person who is going to make the things better. And then vote of thanks by the program chairperson. So what we have to do is start saying again, presiding officer, chief guest, lions and invitees. Thank invitees seated on the dais, lions and non-lions for participating. And also thank the board for providing the opportunity to be the project chairperson. If any sponsors to the program, please call their names. And the management of the venue and etc., whatever is there, thank them. And then in the last, you can always say that request all invitees to join at lunch or dinner. It all depends what time you have the program. So you have to remember this particular aspect. This is where the vote of thanks come. Then at the time of again meeting adjourned, remember that again master of ceremony should not say that I request the presiding officer or the president to adjourn the meeting. He should not say this word. The person who is chairing the meeting should have the clarity that what is the next point in the agenda. Then you have to do that. And in between, the national anthem is there. My suggestion is, already I told you national anthem. Avoid if your installation goes beyond or 9:15, 9 or 9:15, avoid installation and national anthem, because you are not respecting it. So that's where you have to look. And then at the time of meeting adjournment, I hereby adjourn this installation ceremony. After saying these words, strike the gong. The gong, this is the gong and this is the gavel. Strike the gong with the gavel. You have to remember, these are very, very important aspects that need to do. My dear friends, thank you very much. This is your friend Srinivas Salike. What all we are talking, what all is that we have done. So now probably you have some questions. We'll start taking your questions now. Thank you very much, my dear friends.